you might not need more leads. I know every sales post says otherwise. But in my experience, when agency owners take just a slightly deeper look at what feels like a lead problem, it often reveals something else underneath, like a relationship problem, a message that's no longer landing, or a missing structure for managing trust. See, most of us already have people in our orbit, clients, past leads, collaborators, or curious followers. But if you're not engaging those relationships intentionally, your growth stays inconsistent and your pipeline stays unpredictable. And that's because the relationships that could move your business forward isn't being managed with intention. So here's what actually matters. Your network isn't just a list of contacts. It's your relationship management system. And managing that network, it's not marketing, it's sales. Sales built on trust and clarity. And that's what we're getting into today. In this episode, we'll talk about the 3 key types of relationships that really move the needle. We'll explore how a lead problem can be something else entirely, plus how to build a network that actually supports your growth without burning you out. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you want to grow an agency to 7 figures and beyond without working more hours in your business, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I know what it takes to build an agency, including supporting an agency owner in selling and exiting. I also have a master's degree in communications, specializing in organizational development. My team and I have worked behind the scenes of multiple 7-figure agencies and have coached and consulted with over 150 agency owners. All this to say, when you join us on the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast, you get real-world experience and practical tips that help you work less, earn more, and lead with integrity. So let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you're new here, this show is for agency owners who've chosen to build differently. Because small but mighty doesn't mean small dreams. It means smart, strategic, and deeply intentional growth. It means you're not chasing shiny things. You're building real things, things rooted in trust, clarity, and connection. And you're not here to be everywhere. You're here to be known for the right things by the right people. And today's episode, it's about one of the smartest ways to make that happen, because the fastest path to sustainable growth isn't hustle, hustle, hustle. It's collaboration. You've heard it before. Your network is your net worth. And it sounds nice, but most agency owners never stop to ask what kind of network actually leads to growth. Because after working with agencies at every stage, I've seen the difference. It's not about how many people you know. It's about who you're building with. And today, I'm sharing the 3 strategic collaborators that small but mighty agencies need to grow without burning out or feeling like you're stuck on the networking hamster wheel. You know the one where growth feels like it depends on you to keep up with a massive list of contacts, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people you've met or connected with over the years. And somehow you're supposed to keep all of those conversations warm, follow every thread, show up in every DM, every Slack group, every virtual coffee chat. It's exhausting. And honestly, it's unsustainable. Because building a business isn't about keeping up with everyone. It's about getting strategic about who you're building with. So let's pause for a moment before we dive into the framework, because if you're an agency owner, it's easy to assume that what you need is more leads. But in many cases, that's not actually the problem. And that's the part we don't talk about enough. You might not actually need more leads. What you need, especially as a small but mighty agency, is better relationship management. And I get it. Relationship management can feel overwhelming, especially when you're already juggling client work, team leadership, delivery, and growth. But you're probably already sitting on valuable connections. What's missing isn't opportunity, it's clarity. You don't need a massive audience or a huge CRM. You just need a curated group of the right people and a clear sense of how to nurture those relationships intentionally. Because when you know which relationships matter most, you can stop trying to manage everyone and start focusing on the ones that actually move the needle. So how do you figure that out? That's what this episode is here to help with. Let's get strategic. The best way to get organized and cut through the overwhelm is to start with clarity. Clarity on the 3 types of relationships you want in your network when you're using relationships as a growth strategy. So let's break them down. Number 1, the person who refers. Let's start with the relationship that most people are hoping for when they think of collaboration, and that's the person who refers. When we think of relationships as a growth strategy, this is often the one we're aiming for. It's the person who brings your name up in the right rooms, who connects you to leads that are already warmed up, and who makes those intros that actually lead into real opportunities. But here's where a lot of agency owners get stuck. We assume these kinds of relationships will just happen. We meet someone cool, we have a great call, and think, they're totally going to refer me now, and then crickets. Because while liking someone is important, it's not enough. And a true referrer isn't just someone who likes you. They're someone who knows your niche, understands your value, and trusts your ability to deliver real results. And most importantly, they can confidently explain what you do to someone else. That means they've seen your work up close, or they've had enough meaningful interaction to believe in what you deliver. And it's not just about liking you as a person. It's about knowing the ROI you bring to the table. So let's play that out. Say someone's networking at an industry event, and they hear someone say, we're looking for help with brand positioning for B2B SaaS. If you've done the work to stay top of mind and you've been clear about who you serve and what you do, your name clicks into place for them. They might say, oh, you should talk to insert your name. They specialize in helping B2B SaaS companies clarify their positioning and have helped teams like insert client increase qualified leads by 20% in 6 months. Now that's a powerful referral, and it didn't happen by accident. So how do you find these people? First, let's be clear. Not everyone needs to be a referral partner. You don't need dozens. You need a few really aligned ones. And here's what to look for. Number one, they serve a similar audience but solve a different problem. You want some overlap in who you serve, but not in how you serve them. That way, you're not competing, you're complementary. Think of a brand strategist and a web developer, or a paid media specialist and a content marketer, or a PR agency and a messaging consultant. You share a client base, but your value props are distinct, and that makes it easy to refer each other. Number two, they've earned trust with their audience. Referrals carry weight because they come from a trusted source. So when you're evaluating a potential partner, ask yourself, do they have credibility in their space? Do people listen to their recommendations? If the answer is yes, that's someone whose intro can open doors. Number three, they're generous and thoughtful by nature. Referring well takes intention. Look for people who already make introductions, who share other people's work, who genuinely want to help their clients solve problems, even if they're not the ones solving them. That mindset matters more than the job title. So how do you make it easy for people to refer you? Here's what that actually looks like in practice. You've got to be clear on who you serve, and not in a lengthy 2-paragraph elevator pitch type of way. You have to be able to articulate your niche in a way that sticks. Saying I work with B2B companies is vague and forgettable, but saying we help growth stage fintech companies increase qualified leads through email and content strategy, that's specific and that's memorable, and it gives someone a reason to connect you to the right lead. Next, you got to be clear on what makes you different. Being different isn't about flashy branding. It's about being results driven in a way that builds trust. For example, a PR agency might say, we help tech startups land 3 to 5 earned media hits per month in tier 1 publications, even without an internal comms team. Or a digital marketing agency might say, we specialize in helping B2B service firms increase ROAS, return on ad spend, by 25 to 40% within 90 days using paid and SEO combined campaigns. That's not fluff, that's value. And when a referrer hears that, they know you're not just a nice person, they know you're a safe recommendation. Next, you've got to be easy to introduce. This part matters more than most people realize. Even if someone loves your work, if they can't remember how to explain it clearly, they won't refer you. So be memorable, be repeatable, and be consistent in the way you describe what you do. And finally, don't just connect once and hope for the best. Referrers need nurture. The people who refer you the most are the ones you've stayed in touch with, supported, and continue to build trust over time. So yes, building a great referral relationship takes intention. But when it works, it's magic. And more often than not, it starts with you doing the work to be clear, consistent, and confident in your positioning. Because the truth is, you can't just hope to be referred. You need to be referable. Let's move to the second type of strategic relationship every small but mighty agency needs, the collaborator. While the referrer brings aligned opportunities to your doorstep, the collaborator is someone you build something with. This isn't just about good vibes or occasional brainstorming. A true collaborator helps you create something bigger than what either of you could do alone. They elevate your authority through co-branded value and deepen your impact by reaching their audience and vice versa. And here's the kicker. This type of relationship doesn't just grow your lead. It sharpens your positioning, creates richer client experiences, and builds long-term visibility. A great collaborator usually falls into one of three roles. Number one, they can be a co-creator of offers or services. You come together to solve a shared client challenge by combining your strengths. Maybe you offer strategy and they handle execution. Maybe they bring deep technical chops and you bring messaging. Together, you create a bundled offer or a seamless client experience that makes both of your agencies more valuable. For example, inside one of our agency together cohorts, two members, one who runs a design and brand studio and another who leads strategy for nonprofits, realized they were serving similar clients at the same inflection point. These nonprofits were craving more visibility. They had great missions, strong programs, but struggled to stand out, especially when trying to attract funders or partners. Instead of just swapping leads, these two agency owners joined forces on a thought leadership project. Together, they created a content-driven initiative aimed at helping nonprofit leaders understand the connection between strategy, brand, and visibility. The collaboration was strategic because they served overlapping audiences with shared needs. They brought complementary expertise to the table, and by teaming up, they were able to amplify their reach to each other's communities. It wasn't about building a formal offer. It was about co-creating something valuable that showcased both of the strengths while helping their audience move forward. And just like that, what started as a conversation inside a curated network turned into a visibility lift for both businesses. It's a perfect example of what happens when collaborators don't just share values, they share strategy. That's collaboration done right. You're not overlapping, you're amplifying. Number two, co-hosting events or workshops. This is one of the easiest ways to dip into collaboration without building a whole offer. You come together to share insights, reach each other's audiences, and grow your authority side by side. Whether it's a joint LinkedIn Live, a virtual roundtable, or a private client training, these kinds of events position you as peers. They create visibility, trust, and even new referral opportunities. Number three, co-creator of content. You don't have to wait for a stage to collaborate. You can do it through your content. And this could be a guest appearance on each other's channels, a co-written blog post for a newsletter, or shared leadership thread on LinkedIn. The goal is to bring both of your perspectives into the room and serve both of your audiences in the process. And when done well, it builds visibility and credibility because you're showing up with someone who already has the trust of their audience. Now, here's how to know if a collaboration is actually strategic. First, you have to have shared audience and different superpowers. So you're solving for the same type of client, but from different angles. Then you've got to have aligned values. So you work in a similar way with a similar level of care and professionalism. Next, clear roles and mutual value. So you're not guessing who does what. You're both benefiting from the collaboration in real, measurable ways. And last but not least, low friction. It means that you communicate well. You don't have to chase each other and you want to keep working together. And here's the big one. You trust each other's work enough to put your name next to it. That trust doesn't happen in one-off direct messages. It's built through real conversations, shared experiences, and follow-through. Of course, not every agency owner is ready for collaboration, and that's okay. But if you're trying to do everything alone, holding every piece of the offer, every piece of the delivery, and every piece of visibility, you're not just burning yourself out, you're capping your potential. The collaborator relationship isn't just about expanding your reach, it's about expanding what's possible in your business. And sometimes all it takes is getting in the right room with someone whose strengths complement yours and saying, what if you built something together? We've talked about referrers, the ones who bring you opportunities. We've talked about collaborators, the ones you build with. Now let's talk about the amplifier, the person who helps you get seen. What I've seen time and time again is that you can be doing incredible work, but if no one's talking about it but you, your visibility stays limited and your growth stays small. Amplifiers are the people who share your message, highlight your perspective, and help you reach audiences that trust them. They don't always refer leads directly, but they build awareness, and awareness leads to demand. Amplifiers do at least one of the following. Number one, they share your work. This could be resharing a LinkedIn post, linking to your article in their newsletter, or tagging you in a thread that aligns with your expertise. It's subtle but powerful because it puts your work in front of their network with a layer of trust baked in. Number two, they highlight your perspective. Maybe they invite you to speak on a panel. Maybe they quote you in a blog post, or maybe they shout you out in a podcast. These moments establish you as a thought leader, and they help shape how others see your value. Number 3, they help shape your reputation. This one's less public, but just as impactful. Amplifiers talk about your work in rooms you're not in. They recommend your voice in editorial meetings. They tell others you should know what they're doing. And that's often how opportunities like media, speaking, and partnerships start showing up. One of the most powerful forms of amplification we see inside Agency Together isn't flashy, it's thoughtful and strategic. Take this example. One member who runs a video marketing agency focuses on telling stories for sustainable B Corp brands, particularly those rooted in Indigenous communities. They were organizing a panel on sustainable branding and Indigenous perspectives. The event was designed to elevate important conversations and voices in that space. Instead of running it solo, they reached out to another Agency Together member who offers design and brand strategies for Indigenous and sustainability-focused businesses. And they invited them to join the panel as a speaker. That one invitation was a strategic amplification of someone else's voice and expertise. And it opens new doors to visibility, followers, direct messages, and yes, potential leads. But more importantly, it's relational. It's one agency owner saying, your voice matters here, and I want to help more people hear it. That's what amplification looks like when it's rooted in trust and aligned purpose. See, you don't need to go viral to grow. You just need your work in front of the right people consistently, and that's what amplifiers help you do. But just like with referrers and collaborators, you want strategic amplifiers, which means, again, there's audience alignment. Their network is filled with people you love to serve. They share context, not just clicks. That means they don't just reshare. They add commentary, perspective, or positioning that helps you land with more credibility. And it's mutual, not transactional. They're not doing it for a favor. They believe in what you're doing, and they want others to believe too. So you don't need a massive audience as a small but mighty agency. You do need trusted voices to help put your work in motion. But here's the thing, amplifiers show up when you do. That means you need to share your point of view, put your work into the world, and be someone others want to endorse because you're consistent, thoughtful, and reliable. So ask yourself, who already believes in what I'm doing? Who's already in the room I want to be in? And how can I build a relationship that makes amplification feel natural, not forced? Okay, so let's bring it all home. If relationships are part of your growth strategy, and for small but mighty agencies, they should be, then building a strong, sustainable network isn't about collecting more contacts. It's about being intentional. You need referrers who know your niche and send aligned opportunities your way. You need collaborators who help you create offers, events, and content that elevate your authority. You need amplifiers who share your voice and help your work travel further. And here's the most important part. These relationships don't come from hoping. They come from curation, clarity, and showing up in the right rooms. That's exactly why we host the Agency Together Strategic Partnership Mixer. It's not a webinar. It's not a pitch fest. It's a curated, intentional space where agency owners connect with others who don't just get the work. They amplify it. They build together with it. They refer it. Inside the mixer, you'll meet values-aligned peers who could become a future collaborator, an unexpected amplifier, or your next trusted referral partner. If you're ready to stop networking randomly and start building relationships that actually move your business forward, head to agencytogether.com/mixer-event to grab your spot. The link is in the show notes. It's free to attend the mixer, and honestly, it could be the start of the relationship your agency has been missing. Until next time, remember, small but mighty isn't a limitation, it's the advantage, and you don't have to grow alone. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.